Most people who start running YouTube ads end up wasting their money. They'll spend thousands of dollars, see little to no results, and either give up or worse, keep spending without even realizing that they're losing money. I know how frustrating that feels. I've been there. My name's Chris, founder of Dominate Marketing, and over the past few years, I have personally managed hundreds of YouTube ad campaigns, spending over $300,000 and generating tens of thousands of leads. And in this video, I'm breaking down the 10 most common mistakes that cause ad budgets to disappear and showing you exactly what to do instead so you can finally run campaigns that actually work. Mistake number one is that they don't get straight to the point. They introduce themselves or they try to start with some just being clever and they don't get straight to the point of like, what's in it for me? What's in it for the person who is viewing it? So for example, if I was to start an ad saying, hey, my name is Chris Shoup, and I'm the founder of Dominate Marketing, which is an advertising agency. Well, right there, like that's about 5 seconds. That's the point where the person is allowed to skip. If that's the beginning of my ad, nobody cares. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about my company. Like nobody cares about anything that's relevant to me. They care about things that are relevant to them. I need to start with what's something that they would want to listen to. If I'm just introducing myself, I've already lost the person. They're going to skip after the 5 seconds and all of my ad spend is wasted. So instead, you got to get straight to the point. So in my example, I would start with exactly the thing that I could do that would benefit them. Hey, would you like to get more leads and sales coming into your business on autopilot using ads that just run out in the background? You don't have to do anything. Right? I'm making it about them. I'm talking about how I can help them. I'm not talking about myself. And it's the same thing, whatever business you're in. If you're selling furniture, you talk about how your furniture benefits them. If you can help them lose weight, don't talk about, hey, my name is John Smith and I'm a fitness coach and I'm accredited by XYZ organization, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Like nobody cares. You got to start with, and consider too that like there's a lot of people that are competing for these people's attention, right? You know, we say that like people have short attention spans these days. That's true to an extent, but a bigger part of it is that there's simply more competition for their attention. So it's harder to keep people's attention when there's so many other people trying to get it. If I want to get somebody's attention, I got to hook it quick or else they're gone. Nobody wants to see your ad. Like that's what you got to get through your head. Nobody wants to see your stupid ad that's interrupting the video that they actually want to watch. So if you want to get someone to continue watching their ad, you need to make it relevant to them immediately, right off the bat. Otherwise, you're just throwing your money down the toilet. Okay, so that's the first big mistake. Second big mistake is that you're showing all your ads to broke people. Now, this is not always the case. I mean, if you or not always a problem depending on your business. You know, some businesses sell to lower income people. If you're advertising your Dollar Tree store, for example, then you can just kind of ignore my advice on this one. But if you have a higher priced product, then you probably want to sell to people that could actually afford your product. And what happens is that in YouTube ads are by their nature are trying to optimize, which means they're trying to get you the lowest possible price per whatever you're optimizing for. Could be for per view, per click, per lead, per sale. If you do per sale, then that can kind of solve the problem. But let's say that you're optimizing per lead. Well, or you're optimizing per click or per views. All works the same way. Well, who do you think are the cheapest people to show your ad to? Well, they're the people that have the lowest demand. In other words, this is supply and demand, like you learned in high school economics if you were paying attention. The things that people want the least are the cheapest, generally speaking, right? If I was to sell you my trash, if I have like a used pizza box, you can buy it from me for very cheap. The reason being that nobody else wants it. That's why it's not valuable, right? So the same thing with ad inventory. The people that have the least money are the least valuable. They're the least desirable to show ads to. Because of that, there's very little competition for people at the lower end of the income spectrum. And so there, you're going to get the cheapest views, the cheapest clicks, and the cheapest leads from that particular demographic. So you got to be really careful that you don't let it show your ads to those people. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can qualify in the ad itself, which is something that I'm going to get into in just a minute here. Or you can set your targeting to exclude those people. And you got to set it in a firm way that you're saying that no exceptions. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute too, because YouTube, like the ad platform, has all these sneaky ways of getting around the things that you say that you want. So anyway, like the big mistake is that you show your ad to broke people that can't afford your offer. The third mistake is that your ads are too short. This is something that I find myself like arguing with people constantly on this one, is that people think that ads have to be short. Again, this goes back to the attention span thing. Oh, people only have an attention span of X number of seconds these days. Well, that's not really true. And it's especially not true on YouTube. Do you realize that a lot of your ads, you are showing to people that are watching 3.5-hour long podcasts on YouTube? These are people that do in fact have an attention span, right? And the truth is that a lot of people have an attention span. People will sit there and watch Netflix for 6 hours. Like they'll binge these Netflix shows without moving. That is having an attention span. The issue is, again, that there's so many people competing for that attention that it's like your stuff has to be really, really good. Like the standard is really high. You can't be boring or else you're going to lose people's attention. You can't be irrelevant to their interests or you're going to lose people's attention. But if you keep it snappy, if you keep it direct and to the point, and hey, here's how you can get something that's really important to you, then they'll suddenly have an attention span. They'll be willing to listen because it's relevant to them, because it's worth their time. So with a lot of people think that the ads have to be short. It's like, oh, you can only have a 30-second ad or a 45-second ad. Anything longer than that, you'll lose people's attention. It's too long. This is just not true, right? If people binge Netflix for 6 hours, then you can have a 2-minute ad. It's not that bad. There's one company that does really well with YouTube ads, has ads that are 45 minutes long, and they work. So, and I'm not quite that extreme about it, but like you don't need to keep your ads short just for the sake of keeping them short. You want to put in as much information as you need to make the case for why they should take the action that you're asking them to take. And if you have more information that will help them make that decision, then you should add the more information. Now, you can put multiple calls to action in there, right? Because you'll have some people that after 30 seconds, they're already sold. They already want the thing. And so you could say after 30 seconds, if you're interested, click the link below and do XYZ on the next page. And then you continue with your pitch. And then another 30 seconds later, you make the call to action again. You say, so if that sounds good to you, click the link below and da-da-da-da-da. And then you continue with your pitch until you don't have anything else that is useful to say. So the problem that I see a lot of people making, or the mistake I see a lot of people making, is that they think they have to cut their ad down too early because because they think there's some time restriction. You don't pay any extra on YouTube for having a longer ad. Like if somebody watches a 30-minute ad versus a 30-second ad, guess what you pay for both? It's exactly the same. You don't pay any more for having a longer ad. So there's no downside to it. And what happens is that some people need a bit of convincing, right? So if they're watching let's say a 45-second ad, at the end of 45 seconds, they're kind of on the fence. They're like, this looks cool, maybe. And then the ad ends, and then you lost them, right? Whereas if you had continued for another 45 seconds, you would have gotten them. So be careful of trying to make your ads short just for the sake of making them short. You want to include everything that you can that might sway them to make the decision that you want them to make. Next mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they expect people to believe them. This is massive. You just got to assume, and I know like this is hard to take for some of you, but you just got to assume that nobody believes you. Nobody believes a single word you say. right? That's what I assume for myself. I assume that these people don't know me from Adam. They've never seen me before. Now, this may be different if you have like a following and maybe you're retargeting your own subscribers on YouTube or something, then that's a little different. But otherwise, if people don't know you, then they also do not trust you. And if they don't trust you, why should they believe a single thing that you ever say? And the answer is that they don't, especially in certain industries where people are super skeptical. So if I say that I'm going to get you all these leads in your business and just trust me, well, ain't nobody going to trust me. Like, it's just not going to work. I have to prove to them that I can actually do the things that I'm saying. I have to give them a reason to believe that I can get them the result that I'm saying that I can get for them. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to do this, and you see a lot of people post like screenshots, or they'll post testimonials, or like they'll post before and after pictures for a fitness offer, for example. And those are okay. They're better than nothing, but a lot of those can be easily faked, especially these days with AI. Like, I could ask some AI software to say, hey, make me a picture of a fat guy and then another picture of the same guy, but like 50 pounds lighter. And just make that my before and after picture, and say, oh, this was my client, right? It's really easy to fake those things. So my preferred form of proof that I use extensively is just logic. I explain, if I make a claim, instead of trying to show, oh, here's a screenshot that proves that it works, instead of doing that, I mean, maybe in addition to doing that doesn't hurt to do that. It's just that people don't automatically believe it. But what people do believe is if you can logically explain why it works, right? So if I was going to tell you that you can get the best quality leads and sales from YouTube ads, for example, instead of showing you screenshots of my YouTube ads, which could be faked, instead, I'm going to explain to you why that is. I'm going to explain to you that YouTube is owned by Google, and Google knows what people are searching for, and it knows what emails they're reading, and it knows what websites they're browsing, and knows what videos they're watching, and knows where they're driving using their Google Maps GPS, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It knows just about everything about everyone, so you can pinpoint, laser target exactly the people that are most likely to buy from you. Now, am I asking you to believe me when I give you that explanation? No, I'm actually assuming that you don't believe me, and I'm giving you irrefutable logical proof that what I'm saying is true. So if you expect people to believe you, they ain't gonna. And your ads are not gonna work. You're gonna end up wasting your money. So find ways to prove your claims in ways that they can't say that you're just lying. Okay, now the fifth big mistake I see people make is that they do not have a clear mechanism or differentiator. This is really important, especially in like education offers. If you do coaching or you sell a course, but it's really for every kind of offer, is that you need something that is different than what they've heard for. So, for example, for me, the differentiator is YouTube ads, right? There's a whole bunch of marketing agencies out there, a bunch of advertising agencies and marketing companies and marketing coaches and stuff, but very, very few of them are actually doing YouTube ads. And so my mechanism, my differentiator is, hey, I specialize in YouTube ads, and here's all the reasons, like I just told you a minute ago, why YouTube ads are better than anything else that's out there on the market. So before I'm selling them on me, I'm selling them on my services at all, I'm selling them first on my mechanism. Why is it that my way of doing things is better than everybody else? And so my way of doing things is YouTube ads. Now, this really depends on your market, and it takes a little bit of planning. So if there were a whole bunch of other YouTube ads agencies out there, then I would have to change that up a little bit, because people's natural response would be, okay, yeah, YouTube ads are great, but why should I go with you instead of John or Jordan or like the 10 other guys that are doing YouTube ads? If that was the case, then I would have to come up with a different way that I run YouTube ads. And I'd have to say, here's why most people that run at YouTube ads aren't getting results, and here's what my specific ABC YouTube ads method and why my method is better, right? So you got to kind of know your market a little bit on that. But if you do not have a clear mechanism that differentiates yourself from the rest of the market, then people are not going to have any good reason to listen to you specifically. Remember, they don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't have any reason why they should listen to you unless you give them a clear reason why they should. Mistake number 6 is that they do not qualify. When I say they don't qualify, I mean they don't say who the ad or who the product or who the free lead magnet is for and who it is not for. What happens is that, let's say that or I'll use my own example again. I run ads for businesses, and in order to work with me, first of all, you need to be a certain type of business. I don't work with every business. For example, if you sell t-shirts online and you make $20 for a sale, then I'm not really going to be able to help you because it's probably going to cost more than $20 in ad spend for me to get a sale, and you're going to end up being negative. You're not going to make a profit. So it does not make sense for me to work with a t-shirt company. Similarly, if somebody's like just starting their business and they don't have any money and they can't invest in ads, then it doesn't really make any sense for me to even talk to them, right? Because they can't afford to do the thing that I'm offering. Or if it's like somebody that sells cannabis products, well, I'm not allowed to advertise cannabis products on YouTube. So there's certain people that I just can't help. And so what I want to do is I want to make it clear in the ad itself that I'm not going to, if you're in this, and this category, I'm not going to be able to help you. So I can say that either in the positive or the negative. So I can say, if you're a business owner that's already making at least $10,000 a month, right? So that would be, for example, that would be a proxy for somebody that can afford my services. Now you got to be a little careful with that because like some of my best clients are people that are not making any money in their business, but they have a job. Like they're a doctor or they're a lawyer, or an engineer, they have a high paying job. They can afford to pay for ads. They can afford to pay my fee. Even though they don't have any business success yet, they're a motivated person. They have the money to spend and I can make them successful. So I want to make sure that my messaging is attracting those type of people, but pushing away the people that are not serious, the people that either they don't have money or they're not willing to invest in themselves, or they sell $20 t-shirts, or they sell a $7 ebook and that's all they got, et cetera, et cetera. Like the better that my ad pushes those people away and brings the more serious people towards me, like attracts the more serious people, the better it's going to be. And what happens too is that the algorithm learns over time. So as you start to get a certain type of person as a lead that keeps coming in, like if for example, I'm getting a bunch of doctors that want to start some kind of health coaching practice. Those are the people that are responding to my ad. Well, the algorithm's going to notice that and start showing my ad to more doctors that want to start a health coaching practice. Whatever it has success with, you're going to get more of. So you want to be really careful that you're not getting success in bringing in people that are not the right people, because it's going to just keep bringing in more and more of those people that are not the right people. And it's going to think it's succeeding, like it thinks it's doing a great job. So you want to push those people away actively and make sure you're not bringing them into your funnel. Mistake number 7 is people don't track performance. This is kind of mind-boggling, but the truth is, like, people will dump a lot of money in ads and never even know if they're working because they don't know what's coming in from the ads. Like, they don't know what leads are coming in. They don't know what calls booked. They don't know what sales. If, for example, you're a established company and you already get a steady stream of people coming in, you already get a steady stream of customers, all of a sudden you start running YouTube ads, and then you're still getting customers, But now you don't know, well, did those customers, would they have come in anyway? Did they come from a referral? Are they a prior client? Did they come from something else, like just word of mouth? Or did they come from the YouTube ads? Or if you're running maybe you're running ads on Facebook at the same time and you get a new client. You don't know where they're coming from. Well, you can't measure the performance. It's like, yeah, you're getting customers, but you would have been getting customers anyway. So what you really want to know is how many customers are you getting, and like how much are you paying in ad spend per new customer? And of course, you want to compare that to how much is a new customer worth. So if you spend $100 to get a new customer and the new customer is worth $1,000 to you in lifetime revenue, well, that's a 10x return on ad spend. If you spend $100 on ads and your customer is worth $90 to you, lifetime revenue, then you're actually losing money. So you got to make really sure that you're tracking where that comes from. And then you also want to track the kind of the lower funnel or upper funnel metrics, I guess is the word, which is like you want to track your cost per lead and your cost per booked call, or whatever your sales process is. You want to track that meticulously, because you can see, first of all, is the YouTube ad, are the YouTube ads working for you in the first place? And secondly, you probably want to run multiple ads at the same time and see like which ones work better. In order to be able to compare and to know which ones work better than others, then you have to be able to actually track the performance. Otherwise, you're just going to have no idea. Mistake number 8 is people turn on the optimized targeting option. This is a really pernicious one because Google really wants you to turn on this option. And if you're not familiar with what that is, if you go into your Google Ads dashboard, which YouTube ads are run off the Google Ads dashboard. It's the same platform, YouTube ads and Google ads. And if you go into the ad group settings, then you'll find there's an option called optimized targeting, which you can either turn on or you can turn off. What this does is you are giving the algorithm permission to go outside of the targeting settings that you told it to use to find people and try to get cheaper engagement. So that's cheaper, whatever you're optimizing for, cheaper leads, cheaper clicks, cheaper sales. So this, in theory, could be a good thing, but what in practice tends to happen is that if you have your targeting settings where you say, hey, I want to reach this type of person in this location, within this age range, within this income range, etc. If you turn on optimized targeting, then it's going to find people, it's going to show your ads to people that are outside of those targeting settings that you specified. And if it can find a group of people that are cheaper to reach than the people that you asked to show it to, it's going to show it to basically all of these people that are cheaper rather than the people that you actually asked for. They're really, like, this really bites you in the butt if you set income targeting. Because if you don't want to sell your ads, if you don't want to show your ads to broke people, and then you go and check the optimized targeting, then it's going to go show your ads to broke people. Why? Because like we talked about, they're the cheapest. And now you've just given the ad algorithm permission to show it to people that are outside of the targeting settings that you told it to. Now, Google really pushes this hard on you. Like, it's recommended, and it's like, it tells you that, oh, you can get 20% less cost per lead if you do this. And then when you start a Google Ads account, then you'll get these people from India that call you constantly and like harass you. They're these people that are like contractors that work for Google, and they'll tell you that there's all these great things that you could be doing to make your ads perform better. And guess what is like the number one thing they want you to do? Turn on optimized targeting, right? So they really try to push this hard on you. So you got to resist. You got to recognize that if you turn this on, and in most cases, it's going to totally screw your ad performance. You're going to just end up throwing your money in the toilet. Now, mistake number 9 is to include the display network. This is where you set where you want your ads to show. If you are running YouTube ads, my recommendation is that you only let it run ads on YouTube. Now, currently, it used to be that you would set up what was called a video action campaign, because again, this is a Google Ads dashboard. And so when you create a new ad campaign, you get a few different options. It used to be there was one called video ad campaign, or video action campaign rather. That was the one that you'd use if you wanted to do YouTube ads. Well, they got rid of that one recently and they switched it for one called demand gen. And demand gen includes YouTube ads. It includes the display ads. It includes display network, and it includes Gmail. And I think that's all. I might be missing one. So I only ever allow it to show on YouTube. So that means that they're actual YouTube ads. You're not doing all the other stuff. You're not doing the Gmail ads. And then the display network, which is what I mentioned specifically, is a bunch of websites that are hosting ads for Google. So it's not YouTube, it's not Google, it's not anything owned by Google. It's just some other website that has some contract with Google, and you're showing your ads on those websites. Now, I don't have any idea what those websites are or even what context people are seeing them. But I found that if you include the Google Display Network, then you get really terrible results. Like the Google Display Network people they'll click on it for some reason, probably by accident, but you don't get leads, you don't get sales. It's just, you want to exclude those people from your targeting. Okay, now the 10th mistake that people make is that they do not have a sales process. I like to compare this to dating, that you want to kind of bring people into your world gradually. If let's say that you see a girl on the street that you think is cute, and you go up to her and you say, "Hey, I just saw you there and wanted to know, will you marry me?" What do you think's going to happen? My guess is that you're not going to be successful, right? And this is kind of the same thing that a lot of advertisers do, is that they try to ask too much right from the beginning. You got to really ease into it. Right. And that's an extreme example, but like a less extreme example, it would be to walk up to a girl on the street that you never met and say, "Hey, will you kiss me?" Right. I mean, a kiss is a lot less of an investment than marriage, but it's too fast. It's asking too much before she knows anything about you. So if you want it to actually work, then you probably just start some small talk, just talk about something, show that you're not a weirdo. Make her see your personality a little bit. And so you're not asking for anything at all, except for like a couple seconds of her attention. That's it. You're asking for something very, very small. And then you talk a little bit more, and then maybe you ask a question, right? And then her answering a question, that's asking a little bit, right? It's a little bit of investment. And then you ask for a phone number, and then you go on a date, and then, the rest. Like, you're doing it just a little bit at a time. Well, marketing is exactly the same way. If you say, "Hey, person that I've never met in my life, and you have no idea who I am, do you want to buy my $10,000 program?" Like, you're probably not going to have a lot of success. So you got to have a sales process that warms them up. Now, depending on your product, it might work. Like if you have a product that's very low investment. So for example, if you sell coffee, if you have a coffee shop, you could say, "Hey, we just opened this new coffee shop in town and we have the best latte and da 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 da. Come here." And like, you ask somebody to come to your coffee shop, that's a very low investment. They're paying $7 for a latte or whatever. That, like, you're not asking much. So you can ask for it right off the bat. But if you have like a coaching program that costs multi-thousands of dollars, or even a product that costs $100, then you're probably going to want to do a little bit of warming up first. And you do that through a sales process. So you don't ask for the sale right from the ad. You might not even send them to a sales page. You probably, especially with like a coaching example where you need to build up some trust. And the same is true if you're a financial advisor, if you're a marketing agency, etc. You need to build some trust in, like, why should this person trust you with this important part of their life? And generally what you want to do is you want to start with either some low-priced information product or a free information product. So for example, in my ads, I don't say, hey, you should hire me to run your YouTube ads for you. I just introduce them to the concept of YouTube ads and say, hey, if you'd like to learn more, I've got this free document which will show you the best way to run YouTube ads in 2025. Click the link and sign up on the next page to get the free document. So I'm not even asking for any money up front. I'm just giving them something for free. I am asking for their contact information, so I'm asking for a little bit, but I'm giving them something for free that's going to build trust. It's going to build a relationship and eventually lead them to a sale, right? And then after they sign up, then I ask them to apply and book a call, and then we talk on the call. And if it's a good fit, then on the call, we can really get to know each other, and I can talk about if it's show them exactly what we would do in their specific situation. And if that sounds good to them, then they'll actually contract with me and we'll start working together, right? But I'm not doing that right from the ad. So you got to have the sales process that warms people up in a step-by-step method, in a step-by-step manner, rather than just trying to get the sale right from the beginning. So that's like the big 10 mistakes I see people making. And I came up with a little bonus mistake for you that a lot of people miss. This is one that if you don't do it, it's not the end of the world. But if you do it, your ads will work a heck of a lot better. And so the way I see it is, if you are missing things that could make your ads work better, you're still wasting money. Because even if your ads are working, they could be working better. If it costs you $200 to make a sale, but if you did ads that are better, you could reduce that to $100 per sale. Well, then that extra $100 that you're spending now is still money wasted. So anyway, my bonus is that they don't create urgency, that they don't give people any reason why they should have to take action now. See, the unfortunate truth of human nature is that we all tend to be procrastinators. We see something that we want to do, we actually want it, and we're like, yeah, I want to get that thing. I want to take that program. I want to download that free lead magnet. I want to read this ebook. Whatever it is, they say, okay, yeah, I want to do this sometime. And then they push it off until later. Oh, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month, et cetera, et cetera. And what normally happens when they push it off? Well, then they forget about it. It never happens. Like the vast majority of people, if they don't do it right this moment, they are never, ever going to do it. So you want to give people a reason why they should have to do it now. And it's kind of tricky to do this, actually. And it's really context specific. It depends a lot on your specific offer, why they should do it now instead of waiting. But the more, you want to be honest about this, because there's a lot of people that make up these bogus reasons for why they should do it now. Like they'll say, oh, I'm giving this free training, or I'm offering this free training, but I'm probably going to take it down tomorrow. It's like, if your ads are working, you're not going to take down the free training. And nobody's buying that. So you got to give some reason that's actually believable why they should take action now. What I like to use, my kind of default that works in almost pretty much any YouTube ad, is just to say that, hey, you might not see this ad again. So if you're interested in this opportunity, click the link now and do the thing, because otherwise you may never see it again. And this is, again, going back to the point before of nobody believes you. The same thing when you say, oh, I might take down this training tomorrow, nobody believes you, right? Whereas if I say, you may never see this again because it's a YouTube ad and you don't know, it's the algorithm decides if you're ever going to see the ad again. Well, everybody knows that that's true. You're logically explaining why the thing that you're saying is true. And it's really, really hard to argue with that, right? Because you're not asking them to believe you. You're just presenting the facts as they are and showing why they are the way they are. So that's a good way to do it. There's other ways to do it too. Like if you're in a market where it's going to become saturated quickly, for example, and oh, you can be the first mover and you can get a big advantage, but if you wait, then there's going to be a whole bunch of other people trying to compete for the same thing. or if you say that interest rates are probably going to go up, that's a special situation right now, you can get in right now. Just like find some reason that's actually true and actually believable for why they should take action now. And you're much more likely to get them to take action now and to get them to take action at all. Because again, if people procrastinate, they usually don't do the thing at all. Now, if you would like to have me work with you directly, either to walk you through this process or potentially in some cases to actually create the whole thing for you, not only the ads, but also the entire sales process, then that's something I'm happy to talk about. I'll put a link in the description where you can apply and book a call with me. And check out the rest of the videos on the YouTube channel too. Like if you want to see, I've got tutorials on how to do just about every part of running YouTube ads. So if you're masochistic and you just like pain and you want to do it all yourself, then be my guest. Check out the other videos. I'll show you how to do it in detail. But if you like to skip the learning curve, have it done right the first time, start making money fast, not waste a whole bunch of money in the process, then click the link below, apply to book a call with me, and we'll talk soon.